the war may not seem so strange. But sometimes, ridiculous and trivial events have led to a war that is not worth the cost. Many historical battles have begun for surprising reasons or have continued under strange circumstances. Be with us until the end. Third Mithridatic War. The Third Mithridatic War was the last and longest war among the Mithridatic Wars in 63 to 74 BC. It was fought between Mithridates VI, king of Pontus, and the Roman Republic. Numerous allies supported both sides throughout the eastern Mediterranean basin and large parts of Asia, including Asia Minor, Greater Armenia, northern Mesopotamia, and the Levant, embroiled in war. This battle ended with the defeat of Mithridates and his suicide, ending the reign of Pontus and the Seleucid Empire and transforming the kingdom of Greater Armenia into a dependent Roman state. In one of the battles of this period, a Roman general was sent to attack the kingdom of Pontus. But both armies, seeing a huge meteorite falling from the sky, panicked and fled the battlefield. War of the Stray Dog. After the Greek and Bulgarian border guards incident in October 1925, military conflict broke out between the two countries. The story was that a Greek border guard, following his runaway dog that had entered the Bulgarian border, entered Bulgarian territory and was shot by Bulgarian border guards. This is why this is known as the War of the Stray Dog. 3 days later, Greek forces invaded the Kingdom of Bulgaria, killing 50 people. Although the war ended quickly, the fate of the stray dog was never determined. Oak Bucket War. While the Oak Bucket War is more like a student rivalry, it was a real war that broke out in 1325 between two provinces in Italy, Bologna, and Modena, in which 2,000 people were killed. This war was, in fact, a proxy war between the supporters of the Holy Roman Empire and the Pope's followers. What you should know is that this war started because several soldiers from Modena stole a bucket of water from a well in the city of Bologna. Even more ridiculous is that the residents of Modena worked hard to defend the stolen bucket, and finally, with victory, they could keep the bucket to themselves. In a battle officially known as the Battle of Zappolino, more than 32,000 Bologna troops attacked 7,000 Modena soldiers but were eventually defeated and left the field. Emu War. The Emu War was a large-scale military operation to manage vermin in Australia in 1932 to solve the problem of the number of Australian ostriches called the emu, which in some parts of Western Australia harassed farmers. Unsuccessful attempts by armed soldiers to limit the population of this native Australian animal caused the media to look at it with humor. The event received a lot of humor in the world media, with headlines such as, "Australian Army defeats ostriches," and, "The ostrich that destroyed the army," appearing in the newspapers. Although many of these birds were killed, the emu population eventually remained stable and continued destroying farms. Despite the difficulties of the operation, farmers in the area again called for military resistance in 1934, 1943, and 1948, which the Australian government did not accept. In the end, the emus left the area at their discretion. Zanzibar War. This was the shortest war in history when it began when the British asked the local Sultan of Zanzibar to abdicate. He did not give in, and the British destroyed the Sultan's palace. The whole war lasted only 38 minutes. When the palace was destroyed, Sultan Zanzibar also took refuge in the German embassy and went to Germany and stayed there forever. Football War. The Football War was brief in 1969 between El Salvador and Honduras. The tense match between El Salvador and Honduras to qualify for the FIFA World Cup was one of the few factors that ignited the fire of war between the two countries. It was 18 days after the match that El Salvador invaded Honduras. Pig War. The Pig War was a war between the San Juan Islands and the United States. The case was that a rebellious British pig that ate American potatoes sparked a short-lived border dispute between the San Juan Islands and the United States. Interestingly, no human was injured in the Pig War, but one pig was shot. Liechtenstein War. When Liechtenstein went to war in 1866, it sent 80 troops to the front, but 81 returned because the soldiers had made a new friend.